Ladies, let me tell you something. Men are wired differently. They don't always realize what they have until they start to feel its absence. If you want a man to truly miss you, it's not about playing games. It's about knowing your worth and moving in a way that commands respect. A man respects what he has to work for. If you always say yes, if you're always available, he takes you for granted. But when you set boundaries, when you have standards, he starts to realize you're not just any woman, you're the woman. Men are natural hunters, and they value what they earn. When you give too much too soon, they don't see the value in it. It's not because they're bad people, it's just human nature. Think about it. If someone handed you a trophy for doing nothing, would you cherish it the same way you would if you worked day and night for it? No, because effort breeds appreciation. The same applies to relationships. Setting boundaries doesn't mean playing hard to get or being distant just for the sake of it. It means knowing what you will and won't tolerate. It means communicating your needs and sticking to them, even when it's tempting to bend for someone who isn't meeting your standards. A man will only respect you to the level that you respect yourself. If you keep giving without receiving, if you tolerate behavior that doesn't align with your worth, then you're teaching him that he doesn't need to do better. But when you stand firm in your standards, when you make it clear that you won't accept less than what you deserve, that's when a man starts to realize, oh, wait a minute, she's different. She's not like the rest. I need to step up if I want to keep her. And here's the truth. When you establish those boundaries, when you make it clear that you won't chase, that you won't beg for love, something powerful happens. He starts to miss you. He starts to notice your absence. See, men don't usually appreciate something in the moment. They appreciate it in hindsight. It's when you stop texting first, when you stop always being available, when you start focusing on yourself, that's when he realizes what he had. A woman with standards is unforgettable. She's the one that lingers in his mind long after she's gone. Because she wasn't just convenient. She wasn't just there to fill a void. She was a woman of substance. When you set boundaries, you shift the dynamic. You go from being an option to being a priority. You teach him that you are not someone he can take lightly. And let me tell you something. Men don't forget the woman who made them level up. Now, some of you might be thinking, but if I set boundaries, won't I push him away? Listen to me carefully. Any man who walks away because you demand respect, because you require effort, was never meant to stay. A man who truly values you will rise to the occasion. A man who truly cares will do the work. The ones who leave, let them go. Because a man who doesn't respect your boundaries is a man who was never going to respect you at all. So if you want a man to miss you, don't beg, don't plead, don't overextend yourself. Instead, set the bar high, walk in your power, and watch how he starts to realize that losing you is not an option he can afford. If you want a man to truly miss you, it's not about playing games or using manipulation. It's about shifting your focus away from him and putting it back on yourself. A man starts missing you the moment he realizes your world doesn't revolve around him. When you're growing, glowing, and living your own life without making him the center of it, that's when he truly starts to notice your absence. Too many women make the mistake of losing themselves in a relationship. They start prioritizing the man over everything else, friends, career, goals, and even their own happiness. They cancel plans just to be available for him. They stop doing the things they love, and slowly they become dependent on the relationship for validation. But here's the problem. When a man sees that you're always available, when he sees that your happiness depends on him, he stops valuing you the same way. Not because he's cruel, but because human nature makes us take for granted what we know will always be there. But when you focus on yourself, everything changes. When you start putting your own happiness first, when you start chasing your own dreams instead of chasing him, he begins to realize what he had. A woman who is independent, confident, and secure in herself is irresistible. She's the type of woman who leaves a lasting impact because she's not seeking validation. She already knows her worth. And men, they recognize that. They respect that. They miss that. Think about it. Why do men often regret losing a woman after she moves on? Why do they come back months later saying they messed up or that they didn't realize what they had? It's because in that time apart, they see her thriving without them. They see her smiling, succeeding, and enjoying life and it hits them. She never needed them to begin with. And that realization is powerful. When you shift your energy away from a man and toward your own personal growth, you become magnetic. You become someone he can't stop thinking about because you represent something rare, a woman who isn't desperate for his attention. And let me tell you something. Men notice when you stop chasing. They notice when you stop texting first, when you stop checking in, when you stop making yourself available at the drop of a hat. And it makes them wonder, oh, why isn't she thinking about me? Or why isn't she calling like she used to? Or what is she doing that's making her so happy without me? And that's when the missing begins. That's when the realization kicks in. Because the truth is, absence creates value. When you're always there, when you're always giving, when you're always prioritizing him, he has no reason to miss you. But when you pull back, not out of spite, but because you're genuinely too busy enjoying your life, he starts to see you differently. So focus on yourself. Invest in your personal growth. Get back to the hobbies that make you happy. Spend time with people who uplift you. Work on your career, your fitness, your passions. Make your life so full that whether he's there or not, you are still thriving. And in doing that, you become unforgettable. You become the woman he thinks about when he's alone at night. The woman he compares every other woman to. The woman he realizes he should have appreciated when he had the chance. The most attractive thing a woman can do is be genuinely happy on her own. Not pretend to be happy, not fake it to make him jealous, but truly embrace her own journey. Because that energy is powerful and it draws people in, including the man who once thought he could live without you. So stop worrying about whether he misses you. Stop trying to make him realize your worth. Instead, focus on becoming the best version of yourself, and trust me, he will notice. And when he does, he'll understand that losing you was never a risk he should have taken. Chasing a man is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. The moment you start running after him, constantly calling, texting, or trying to prove your worth, you automatically shift the power in the relationship. You take yourself out of the position of being desired and put yourself in the position of seeking validation. And trust me, men don't value what comes too easily. They value what they have to work for. The moment you stop chasing and start attracting, everything changes. Men are natural hunters. It's in their DNA. They don't appreciate something that's just handed to them. They want to earn it. This doesn't mean you need to play hard to get in a manipulative way, but it does mean you need to understand your value. When you constantly chase a man, whether it's by initiating all the conversations, planning all the dates, or making excuses for his lack of effort, you're essentially telling him that he doesn't have to put in the work. You're doing it for him. And that's when he starts taking you for granted. Have you ever noticed how the moment you stop paying attention to a man, he suddenly becomes more interested? It's not because he didn't care before. It's because human nature makes us appreciate what we have to work for. When you chase a man, he feels no urgency to step up. But when you stop chasing, when you step back and focus on yourself, that's when he starts to feel your absence. That's when he starts wondering why you're not reaching out, why you're not giving him the same energy, why you seem perfectly fine without him. And that curiosity, that's what makes a man start missing you. The problem is that too many women believe that if they don't chase, they'll lose the man. They fear that if they don't check in, he'll forget about them. If they don't make plans, he'll stop seeing them. But let me ask you this. Why would you want to be with a man who only stays because you're the one putting in all the effort? A relationship should never feel like a one-sided pursuit. If a man truly values you, he will show it. He will call. He will plan. He will make time. And if he doesn't, then he's simply not the right man for you. So instead of chasing, start attracting. But what does that mean? It means shifting your focus away from him and putting it back on yourself. It means becoming the type of woman who is so secure, so fulfilled, and so in love with her own life that men naturally gravitate toward her. When you stop chasing a man and start prioritizing your own happiness, you become magnetic. You become magnetic. You become someone he can't stop thinking about, not because you're trying to make him miss you, but because your energy is so powerful that he can't help but be drawn to you. Men notice when you stop chasing. They notice when your energy shifts. They notice when you're no longer trying so hard to get their attention. And that's when they start wondering, What changed? Why isn't she giving me the same effort? Is she losing interest? Is she seeing someone else? That shift in dynamic makes them realize they could lose you. And that's when they start stepping up if they truly care. But let me make something clear. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about playing games or using some trick to make a man want you. This is about self-respect. It's about recognizing that love should never feel like a chase. It should feel natural. It should feel mutual. And the moment you have to fight for someone's attention, the moment you feel like you have to prove your worth, is the moment you need to step back and ask yourself if this is truly the kind of relationship you want. So instead of texting him all the time, text yourself some affirmations. Instead of rearranging your schedule for him, fill your schedule with things that bring you joy. Instead of waiting by the phone for his call, go out and live your life. When you do that, something incredible happens. Not only do you stop feeling desperate for his attention, but you also start realizing that you never needed to chase him in the first place. The right man will always recognize your value. The right man will never make you feel like you have to fight for his love. And trust me, the moment you stop chasing, the moment you step back and focus on your own happiness, that's the moment he'll start missing you. That's the moment he'll start thinking about you more. That's the moment he'll start realizing that you're not like the rest. You're a woman who knows her worth. And a woman like that, she's unforgettable. Sometimes a man needs space to truly understand your value. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. And when you pull back, not as a game, but as a way to prioritize yourself, you give him the opportunity to reflect on what life feels like without you. Many women believe that constantly being present, checking in, and always showing love will make a man appreciate them more. But in reality, when something is always available, it's often taken for granted. When you step back and give him time to sit with his own thoughts, that's when he starts to realize the depth of your presence in his life. Men process emotions differently than women. When something isn't working in a relationship, a woman's first instinct is often to communicate, to fix, to get closer. A man, on the other hand, may need distance to truly understand how he feels. When you are always there, always reaching out, always fixing things, always making sure everything is okay, he never has to sit in that space of missing you. He never has to ask himself, what would life be like without her? But when you step back, when you stop initiating, when you let him feel your absence, that's when clarity sets in for him. It's in those quiet moments that he starts to realize all the little things you brought to his life. The way you laughed at his jokes, the way you supported his dreams, the comfort of knowing you were always there. At first, he might not notice. He might enjoy the space, thinking he's free to do what he wants without responsibility. But give it time. As the days pass, as he experiences life without you constantly checking in, he starts to feel something unexpected. Emptiness. That routine, a good morning, a text is gone. That comfort of knowing someone cares deeply about him starts to fade. And that's when he starts missing you. Men often don't realize what they have in the moment. They realize it in hindsight. This is why so many men come back after a breakup months later saying they messed up or that they didn't realize what they had. It's not because they suddenly changed. It's because the silence forced them to reflect. And reflection brings awareness. But here's where many women go wrong. They don't allow that space to happen. They panic in the silence. They fear that if they don't reach out, he will forget about them. So they send that extra text. They check his social media. They find excuses to accidentally run into him. And in doing so, they rob him of the very opportunity to miss them. Let me tell you something. If a man values you, he will feel your absence. And if he doesn't, then he was never yours to begin with. Love should never feel like a constant effort to prove your worth. A man should never have to be convinced to appreciate you. A man who truly cares will realize your value, not because you forced him to see it, but because your absence made it clear. So instead of worrying about whether he's missing you, focus on yourself. Use this time to reflect on what you want, what you need, and whether he's even capable of giving that to you. Because when you give a man space, you don't just allow him to miss you, you also give yourself the clarity to see if he's truly the right one for you. And trust me, a man who recognizes your value will not let you go. He won't just miss you. He'll make sure he never loses you again.